everybody, welcome back to Esports Tonight. I'm John Beckman, and I'm here with our special guest. Do you think you could introduce yourself, please?
Hey guys, my name is Lindy Azores, and I'm the president of LATech Esports.
Nice, nice. I want to ask, how long have you been in the gaming area so far?
So I've been a part of the esports scene itself probably for the past 4 years, but have been starting to get really interested in gaming in general for probably about 8 to 9 years.
Okay. So I'm guessing you probably did something like that in high school or middle school?
Actually, prior to college, none of my schools offered esports at school, but I was able to join the gaming clubs, so those were a good opportunity.
Okay. What games do you guys play at LaTech Esports?
We have a variety of different games. We have a lot. It's usually League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, Smash, Rainbow Six, COD, Fortnite, and usually it's more or less depending on the interest in the games throughout the years.
Okay. Do you have a favorite?
My personal favorite is League of Legends. That's the one that I play the most.
Okay. Have you guys ever been in any large tournaments?
So far, we have not competed in too many large tournaments. I think the largest one was our Valorant team got to do the Red Bull LAN tournaments over in Alabama. So that's probably the biggest one we've done.
How well did they do?
I don't know if they made it past quals or at the tournament, after they made it through quals.
It's all right. What's practice like?
So practice is usually different depending on the team and how the team captains decide how practice works. But I know with a lot of teams, they just meet together online and play games with each other to make sure they're used to the team synergy. And sometimes they set up scrims against other members within that team, and sometimes set up scrims with people outside of our school. So it really just depends on the team and the captain and which game it is.
Is there scrims mainly practice, or is it for fun?
It's both. Sometimes they'll set up scrims just for fun, but it's also really good practice for them to be able to play against each other and be able to make comments on their gameplay.
Okay. How long have you been the president of LaTech Esports, by the way?
I've been president for the past 2 years.
Oh, wow. Do you think were you any other role before you were president?
So before I was president, I was the secretary of the club and did a little bit of social media on the side. And before that, I was just a normal member.
So how long were you in the club before you were president?
I was in the club for 2 years before I became president.
That's pretty fast. Do you want to do more esports managing in the future?
If I knew more about esports and how big it was, I would have wanted to do something for sure with it after college. But with the degree I'm getting, it's not really relevant. So unfortunately, no, as much as I would like to.
Okay. Do you think that there's any difficulties or challenges in LaTech Esports?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of the biggest challenges is usually funding and equipment. I feel like it goes for a lot of places. It is very expensive to be able to register teams for some of the leagues, but the school is able to give us some funding for at least that, but definitely have some equipment restrictions and a little bit of funding here and there.
Okay. I want to talk more about the club itself. Are there any requirements to join?
Yeah, so our club has to follow the Louisiana Tech Club standards. Since we are considered a club sport, all members have to be within a certain GPA. So I think they have to have at least a 2.5 GPA, I believe, be full-time students. But aside from that, we don't have any other requirements ourselves.
Okay. Do you think it's difficult to balance esports and school?
I would say that it is pretty difficult depending on your major, especially. So if you are doing a pretty difficult major, it's going to be pretty difficult. And especially since Louisiana Tech, we're a very fast-paced school. So we have a lot of work. So it is pretty hard, I will say. But a lot of people do manage to do it.
All right. what do you guys think that your esports team is super special about? Something that no other esports team has?
I think what's special about Louisiana Tech Esports, like in general, is the fact that we're very community based. Like we're not as focused, or we still are focused on the competitive esports aspect, but we also like to focus on the actual community itself. So people that aren't a part of the actual teams and people that are just interested in gaming and want to just show up and play games together. So we're very big on the community aspect.
Yeah, so you guys are like less competitive, but you still want to win, right?
Yes, we still try to focus on competitive aspect as much as we can with what we're given and what we have now, but we're trying to make the most out of it for everyone.
Do you guys like ever host any like local tournaments?
Sometimes our Smash team, they like to have a lot of local tournaments for North Louisiana vicinity, and recently we did host the Louisiana High School Athletics Association, like the state championships. We actually just hosted them for high school teams at our center last week. And that was a pretty big deal, even though it was just high schoolers.
Okay. What would you think about collaborating with LASEF with a new Louisiana college league?
I think that would be a great idea. It would be such like a good resource to be able to connect with other esports schools in Louisiana. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah, because mainly we have high schoolers, and the high schoolers would be able to have a path directly up to college if your college was okay with it.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. And if we pitched it to our college, I'm sure they would be down for it too, because they want to start getting in more people interested in esports.
Yeah, because we have like some really good players that are about to graduate, and I'm sure that they would love a new pathway to go to college.
Absolutely. That would be a great idea. Even when we had the high school championships last week, we had our admissions team was there. We had a lot of higher ups that really wanted to recruit and then bring in more of this interest to our school.
Okay.
So for sure.
Is there anything else you might want to say to like maybe the whole world or anyone watching?
I guess my message would be, if you're interested in esports, there is a place for you anywhere. Even if you're maybe not particularly good at playing the games, there's always a spot for you somewhere within esports, whether it's in a community, whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's actually running everything. There's always a spot for you. So if you're interested, just stick your foot in the door and you'll find somewhere. You'll find a place for you.
I actually kind of agree with that. I've been seeing a lot of these like ranked base tournaments being hosted where it's like lower ranks or medium ranks, where it's not just, the highest of high can play. It's restricted to the people who don't really play the game too often, but still want a chance to compete.
Yeah, I think those are great ideas. I would love for more people to be able to compete in like a less competitive environment and just have fun overall.
Yeah. All right. It's been lovely having you here. That's going to be it for our Esports Tonight. I hope that everyone has a good afternoon, and I hope that we all will be doing more esports related things, and I'll see y'all later next week.
Bye.
Bye.